Hey, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's reading is the person on your mind. What are their late night thoughts about you at the moment? We have three groups for you to choose from: group one, group two, and group three. Please feel free to pause the video if you do need extra time to choose, but I will see you guys in your readings. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the first group, then this reading could be for you. I hope you guys are doing okay. The person on your mind, what are their late night thoughts about you? We have the Judgment card upright, Eight of Wands upright, and the Moon in reverse. Okay. So at the moment, they could be thinking about how they need to be honest with you, finally, perhaps, about how they feel about you. They've been holding back a long time, and it feels like they think about or they've realized that you are a truth that they've been running from and that they don't want to keep doing that moving forward. They think about how they thought they had a good reason for it, for holding back, for not being transparent about certain things, but now they don't really feel like there's any reason good enough, and that they can't really hide from this anymore, hide from you anymore. They do question whether you want them the same way, whether you're thinking of them as much as they are thinking of you, and whether like the same thoughts are kind of circling through your head. They do think about whether you'd be willing to give them another chance, or a chance in general, if this person has had you waiting and maybe nothing has, significant has transpired so far. So it's either a second chance or just a chance in general. And they also think about how you've made them question their choices a lot. Could be intentionally, it could be unintentional, but you've made them really question why they do what they do and behave how they behave, especially when it comes to you, and it feels like they're kind of starting to face certain things that they may have been avoiding within themselves. They do think about how you've made them look inwards. They feel like they're being called to make things right with you. And at night, they also hear your voice in their head a lot and quite often. This could be something significant that you said. It could just be, some of the conversations that you've had, or just your voice in general. But they do think about how they owe you clarity, and how they feel you hold up a mirror to them, so that they have no choice but to confront certain things within themselves. But they also think about how they feel fate keeps pulling you guys together, or pulling them back to you. They do regret the decisions they've made that led you two apart, and they don't want time to grow even more between you guys, to the point that you end up being a lesson for them. They do hope you don't see them differently now, in a negative light perhaps, or just not favorably if it's not, terribly negative. But they do think about how they need to confess everything to you as soon as possible, before they lose you for good. You do make them want to change, and that's something they think about. And also, they do think about how they are standing at a crossroads because of you, and how they're being called to face reality and, take themselves out of that crossroads and confusing headspace that they could be in when it comes to you. And it feels like right now they can't resist the urge to reach out to you. They can't resist the urge to make things right between you guys. In the past, they could have felt things were moving too fast, but now they think about how they need that momentum, they want that momentum and they want things to move fast as they feel time's running out and they don't want that to happen. They also think that they aren't hesitating anymore. They're not going to hesitate anymore. They think about how you make them feel, their heart beats a little faster when they're around you, when they speak to you, when they think about you, and you make them feel a little restless, but not in a bad way. Like, they still have their doubts and they still consider these doubts, but they're actively pushing these doubts out of their head at this point. They don't want anything getting in the way anymore. They do feel like their illusions, their facade that they wear with you is slowly fading and they're just ready to throw the mask away entirely. They do regret the lies they told themselves about you, and they realize they can't keep you a secret anymore. They don't want to keep you a secret. And they do think about how you've made them face things about themselves that has never even crossed their mind before, And they realize now that they have been living in denial and they don't want to do that moving forward. And they do wonder as well if you've, been seeing through their mask that they wear when it comes to you. And, they do wonder if you can actually really see their feelings for you as well, even if you may not say anything to them directly about it. But moving on, we have I masturbate to the thought of you. We have pillow talk. I loved you too much. I waited too long to see your worth. Now the joke's on me. We also have nomad. We have healing. We have ending a trauma. We have house, home. And we also have progress, not perfection. So with nomad, they think about how they want to be a part of your community. They want to be a part of your life. They may not feel like a nomad in like the literal sense of the word, but it does feel like with you, they are thinking more permanent, And with I masturbate to the thought of you, a lot of their late night thoughts regarding you, aside from the serious ones that, came through earlier in the reading, they do have a lot of, intimate thoughts of you at night. So they could also think about how they did love you too much, how they cared about you a lot, and that could have scared them. And that is something that they are starting to realize, but they're also starting to realize that it's not something they should be afraid of and run away from, that it should be something that they should consider embracing. And with house, home, they do think about how you feel safe to them, that you feel like a comfort. And with ending a trauma, they think about how they are ready to end. For some of you, this could be a trauma, like if there have been issues between you and this person, it could be their own trauma that kind of prevented them from moving forward with you in a meaningful way. But for a lot of you, this feels like ending it doesn't necessarily have to be a dark period, but like a kind of gloomy, confusing period between the two of you. And with progress, not perfection, it says don't compare yourself to others or judge yourself. Instead, focus on how far you've come and all that you've learned. So it feels like they think about how they're ready to not maybe judge themselves or think too harshly of themselves, and maybe relate it to their past, and they're thinking about how they're going to take those lessons and use it moving forward, instead of letting that fear or problems or issues that they experienced in the past, whether that's related to another person, whether it's internal, and it could be both actually, but it feels like they're kind of ready to let that go and just make progress instead of dwelling on that stuff. And with I waited too long to see your worth, now the joke's on me. They don't want, this is something they think about, they don't want you to think that they took so long to see your worth. Like maybe, that has always been with them. It's something that they've always valued and saw inside you. But because they maybe took too long, or, whatever it is, in your relationship, they don't want that to be a reflection on how they see you and how much they value you. Okay. So they also think about pillow talk between you guys. Maybe you guys staying up late, talking to each other, spending those like intimate moments alone, just the two of you. That's something that they do think about a lot. And finally, they also think about how they do want to be a healing force in your life and not the opposite, Like they want to make your life better. Not that they think it's not good already, but yeah, they want to add to that. But that is all I have. For those of you who chose the first group, I really do hope it could be helpful and make sense. I'm wishing you guys the absolute best. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. But until then, please take care of yourselves, okay? Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the second group, then this reading could be for you. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you for joining me. So the person on your mind, what are their late night thoughts about you? We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse, and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So the person on your mind, late at night, they do think about how they've kept dropping the ball with you and how they've failed to make you a priority. They do wonder as well if you see how chaotic they really are, and they think about how you may only see the positive side to them. And this may not be like the positive side to them, but they definitely feel you don't see the messy side to them, and that you kind of just see, let me see, like see them as stable, and they do think about how they want you to see them more realistically, and they want you to see their flaws. They feel like they've had to put on this fake act with you, but they also aren't ready for you to see them. Like I guess they are a bit conflicted, because they do want you to see them realistically, but it's like, I don't know if I really want them to peek behind, you know, how they show themselves to you and the world. But they do think about how they regret letting distractions get in the way of your situation and maybe ruin what you both had. And they think about how they really want you to know that they can't balance things in their life at the moment, just so that you can have a little perspective on why you guys are here right now. But having said that, they also don't want you to know, even though you not knowing could be creating this confusion. Mostly they think about how they are drowning in their responsibilities and they're feeling lost, or they feel like they're losing you in the process, or they feel like maybe they've already lost you in that process. And a part of them wishes that they could have given you more stability. And they also think about how you may have already seen through some of their lies. They do think you've already decided that they aren't worth the effort, and that the distance between you guys is for the best, at least for now. They think about how sloppy they've been regarding you. They do think you see them as careless and heartless, and that you see them as making excuses instead of showing up and doing better. And I feel like that's kind of what they want to, like, that's why they want you to like know more about their life, so that you don't have this perspective on them like they're doing it intentionally, and that I actually do have responsibilities and issues that I need to focus on, even though it is creating problems within your situation with them. So again, like they're kind of conflicted, and in their mind at night they're conflicted about whether to be open and give you a little bit more perspective, or just to kind of keep things the way they are now. But they are kind of thinking that they've killed the spark between you guys. They think about how extremely attracted to you they still are, how attracted to you they were, but they kind of think you see them as not being attracted to you. So it feels like they really want to clear some of these things up. But they may not feel like they're in the right space to do that, especially in order to maybe be consistent, because there's no point in me giving you that clarity if I can't be consistent with you. So that could be something they are kind of juggling and weighing up in their mind. But they think about how the chemistry was there between you guys, that it was beautiful, honestly. And they want you to know that their passion for you has never fizzled out, but there's also nothing they can do about the attraction they still feel towards you, at least for now. They do think you see them as uninspired and not motivated, and you see them as all talk and no action. And they do think about how they may have messed things up before things even got started, and they regret not being able to sustain that energy between you both. And they do think a lot about how they may have sabotaged things. They do regret not seizing the moment, but also feel they couldn't, even if they wanted to. They do think you see them as lacking courage, as someone that's not a leader or can't take charge. And they could also think you see them as weak as well. And it feels like they definitely beat themselves up, that they couldn't give you the security that you may have wanted or needed, and how they've lost their chance to prove themselves to you. And they also think about how they regret letting fear stop them from committing and maybe being open about some of their issues. So moving forward, we have dishonesty, we have I'm not financially stable, opportunist, will you wait for me? Do you even care about me? I'm so used to flying solo. We have sex, kiss, hug. And we have value your self-worth and trust your gut feelings. So with dishonesty, they actually think that you've been dishonest with them in some way. For some of you, this could be about your connection to someone else. Could be referring to something else as well, but they do think about you possibly being dishonest with them. And with do you even care about me, they wonder if you will care about them down the line. And with will you wait for me here, they think if they were to keep you waiting, will you continue to care about them? So with value your self-worth, they feel that you want them to show you that they value your self-worth. And with opportunists, they could actually think you see them as an opportunist, someone that you can't entirely trust because you see them as an opportunist. So with sex, kiss, hug, they do have sexual thoughts about you at night as well. With trust your gut feeling, they actually feel that you're starting to trust your gut feeling a lot more when it comes to them. Maybe when it comes to waiting for them, or when it comes to seeing them as an opportunist, or the amount that they value you. They could think you see them as not financially stable at the moment, or not stable within other areas of their life, or they want you to see or understand that they are struggling with their stability. And finally, with I'm so used to flying solo, they could actually think that's the perspective you have on them, that they prefer being alone or being single, or just, being independent and having their freedom. So yeah, that's all I have though for those of you who chose the second group. I really do hope it could be helpful. I'm wishing you the best. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Please take care. Bye. Hey, welcome. I hope you are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've chosen the third group, then this reading could be for you, the person on your mind. What are their late night thoughts about you? Okay, so to start off with, we have the Three of Cups upright, Five of Pentacles upright, and the Six of Cups in reverse. So at the moment, it feels like they are thinking about how outgoing you are. They do wonder if you're having a good time without them when they're not around. And about how difficult it will be for them to be a part of your world, but that it won't stop them from trying. They hope you talk about them to your friends. They think about how they want to be further a part of your life, a part of your joy, maybe a part of your social circle, and they want to be able to add to your happiness. They hate that they aren't invited into your happiness as well, or wasn't invited to something specific, like a celebration for you, some of you guys. They worry that you might have replaced them or that you will eventually replace them. They think about how they've missed a chance to be a part of your world in a significant way. They do feel they will have that opportunity to show you that they can show up when you need them to. So they've not written themselves off. They've not written this situation off. They feel like they still have a chance to prove themselves in some way, but they do have regrets about not already kind of being an active part of your life and being a part of your joy and your happiness. But they also think about how you seem, very happy, surrounded by other people, by your friends, your family, maybe your colleagues, for some of you guys. But there is a part of them that does think you'd be happier if they were there. Um, and they do wonder if you think about them when you are surrounded by other people. For some of you, like, they do think about how they're having to watch your life from a distance or through mediums like social media. They feel like they have no place in your story and they feel kind of shut out. And there is a part of them that wonders if you see them as a burden or if you will end up seeing them as a burden. They also think about how you struggle in ways that you don't allow other people to see. They do feel you put on a brave face for them and the people around you. They do wonder if you would support them further down the line. For some of you, there is a part of them that already feels you've closed the door on them. But again, there is that part of them that feels like maybe they, have a chance to prove themselves to you in some way. But they also think about how they'll be able to give you more stability further down the line as well. And they do think that you wanted or needed too much from them before, but it's something that they can give to you now. They do also think about how at times they do feel beneath you now. They do think about how you've outgrown them. They also think about how vulnerable you are, but still think you're thriving. And they think about how they feel kind of invisible to you. They could also think you see them as too broken in some ways, and they regret not offering you more security when they had the chance to. And in their mind, like, they do feel like they've put you on a pedestal, that they've romanticized you and your connection too much. But now they kind of feel like they need to approach and see things more realistically instead of maybe idealistic as they were in the past. And, they also regret living in the past as well. They also think about how innocent you are in their eyes and how they want to recreate that innocent energy between the two of you, especially if it's maybe just not there anymore, or it's, shifted and changed. But they hate that they can't stop comparing things now to how they used to be. They do think about you with nostalgia, and they wonder if you've forgotten about them or some of the small but meaningful moments that you've shared with them. So moving on, we need to talk. It's a problem. I feel so comfortable around you. We have bitter, instant connection, animalistic, energy of love. We have purse, wallet, pursue your true wealth. And we also have divine life purpose. So they do think about how they do feel comfortable around you. With we need to talk, they could feel that you want to talk with them, or it's like if you guys are going to have a conversation, they could think that you want the conversation to be honest, direct, maybe, talk about things that you guys haven't discussed before. For some of you, they could think that you just want to talk to them, maybe on a normal friendship level. And for some of you, they could actually think that's what your relationship needs, is to kind of build that friendship connection. And that could be something that they think about. And with bitter, for some of you, they could be thinking about how they need to let go of any bitter feelings that they have related to the past, especially if it's impacting how they move forward with you in the future. And at night as well, they also think about how you're pursuing your goals and your dreams and, things that you find fulfilling. But they do think about how they still have a lot of love for you, with energy of love, and how they felt an instant connection with you, and that they still feel that connection between you guys. This feels random, so please only take this message if it resonates. But with it's a problem, for some of you, they could think about how your work could be a problem for them for some reason, whether that's, the times that you're working, the environment that you work in, or something else that would make more sense to you. But they also think about how they feel you are a part of their purpose, that you are supposed to be in their life, that they were supposed to meet you. And they feel like you're someone that they can have fulfillment with, or you're someone that can lead them towards further fulfillment within their own life. And finally, with animalistic, they could actually think about how they perceive you as quite passionate, maybe intense. But this could be something that actually worries them and scares them for some reason. Especially if they're like very different from that energy. But that is all I have for those of you who chose the third group. I really do hope it could be helpful. I'm wishing you the best. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. But until then, please take care of yourself, okay? Bye.